Somewhere in a museum case sits a sword that modern metallurgists, with all our lab equipment and material science, still can't fully replicate. Not because we don't have the tools, because we lost the actual knowledge of how it was made, and nobody wrote it down before it disappeared. Here's the question that should honestly bother you more than it does. If we're the most advanced civilization that's ever existed, why are there ancient technologies we straight up cannot recreate? Let's start with that sword. It's called Damascus steel, and it wasn't just sharp, it was legendary. Historical accounts describe blades that could cut through a falling silk scarf, hold an edge sharper than anything European smiths were producing at the time, and do it while being flexible enough not to shatter on impact. That combination, extreme hardness and extreme flexibility at the same time, is genuinely hard to achieve because those two properties usually work against each other in metal. The technique was lost sometime around the 18th century, likely because the specific or source used to make it ran out, and the knowledge of the exact process died with the smiths who never fully documented it. Modern researchers have gotten close using electron microscopes to study surviving blades, and they found something wild. Some original Damascus steel blades contain carbon nanotubes and nanowires, microscopic structures that wouldn't be scientifically understood or intentionally engineered until literally the 20th and 21st centuries. Ancient smiths were producing nanostructures in their metal by feel through trial and error passed down generationally, with zero idea what atoms or nanotechnology even were. We can get close to replicating it today. We still can't fully reproduce the original process because we don't have the exact and we don't have the specific technique because it simply wasn't written down before it vanished. Now here's one that's honestly even more unsettling because it's not sitting in a museum. It's sitting in the ocean. Roman concrete. Structures built by the Romans over 2,000 years ago, harbor structures specifically, sitting directly in seawater, are still standing today. Not just standing. Some marine concrete structures have actually gotten stronger over the centuries as seawater interacts with the material. Meanwhile, a huge percentage of modern reinforced concrete structures show significant deterioration within just 50 to 100 years, especially anything exposed to salt water, because seawater usually corrodes the steel reinforcement inside modern concrete and cracks it apart from the inside. For a long time, this made no sense. How does 2,000-year-old concrete outperform modern concrete? Researchers eventually found part of the answer. Roman concrete used a specific volcanic ash mixed with lime in a process that created rare mineral structures within the material, including one called aluminum tobermorite, a mineral that's actually difficult to even manufacture in a modern lab. When seawater seeps into small cracks in Roman concrete, it triggers a chemical reaction that grows these mineral structures and actually seals and strengthens the crack over time, instead of widening it. So we've cracked part of the mystery. We understand roughly why it works now. But here's the part that still isn't fully solved. We haven't been able to perfectly replicate the exact Roman recipe and process at scale, partly because we don't have complete records of their precise mixing ratios and methods, and partly because modern construction is built around speed and cost, not multi-century durability. We know more about why it worked than we know about how to fully rebuild it ourselves. And now for the one that sounds almost fictional, except it's sitting in a museum in Athens right now. In 1901, divers exploring an ancient shipwreck off the coast of a small Greek island pulled up a corroded lump of bronze that researchers initially didn't think much of. Decades later, closer analysis revealed it wasn't scrap metal. It was a mechanism. A device with over 30 precisely cut bronze gears, designed to track astronomical positions, the movements of the sun, the moon, even predicting eclipses, with mechanical precision that historians assume didn't exist again until clockwork devices built more than 1,000 years later. This is the Antikythera mechanism, and researchers still debate exactly how sophisticated the knowledge behind it actually was, because nothing else like it from that era has ever been found. It's an isolated, singular object, as if an entire branch of ancient engineering existed, got this good, and then just vanished without leaving behind any other trace. No simpler earlier versions. No later refined copies. Just one, alone, at the bottom of the sea for 2,000 years. Modern researchers using advanced X-ray imaging have mapped most of its internal gearing and function, so we do understand roughly what it did. But there's still real debate about who exactly had the knowledge to build something like this, how widespread that knowledge was, and why literally nothing else like it survived, or maybe was even made again for over a millennium. So here's the unifying theory tying all three of these together. Technological knowledge is not automatically permanent, and it's not automatically cumulative. We tend to assume history is this steady upward line, every generation building directly on the last, always moving forward, never backward. These three objects prove that's not actually how it works. Specialized knowledge can exist in a small group of people, in one region, for one era, and then simply die with them if it's not written down, if the resource dries up, if the civilization collapses, or if the next generation just doesn't carry it forward, which is genuinely uncomfortable to sit with, because it means our own knowledge isn't automatically safe either. We assume everything we know now is permanently secured, backed up, distributed, unlosable. But so did whoever made these three things, presumably. They just didn't have the internet to back it up on. Which leaves an actual unsettling question. Is there something we currently know how to do, right now, in this exact era, that could just as easily be lost the same way theirs was? Some skill, some process, some piece of specialized human knowledge that only exists in a small number of people's heads, that we're assuming will just automatically survive into the future, the same way people probably assumed Damascus steelmaking, or Roman concrete mixing, or whatever built the Antikythera mechanism, would obviously survive too. If mysteries like this are exactly what you want more of, subscribe, because this channel exists to dig these stories up every single week. And drop a comment. What other we still can't fully explain this mystery should the next video be about? I read every comment, and a lot of them become exactly what gets made next.